Beep, 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 beep. Now, can you hear me? La, 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 la. All right, yeah, okay. I'll start again. This is what happens when you plug in the camera at the last minute. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for letting me know that in the comments. This is what happens when you plug in the camera at the last second. The alternate camera. Anyway, I've got lots to share with you. Same one is because I had a bit of a bad hair day today. But thankfully, the weather is a lot cooler. Yeah, it's a lot cooler here in London. I've been catching up because, as you know, I don't just catch up on US news, I catch up on international news. And there's been plenty of UK news as well. We have a new prime minister. Yeah. So there's questions here on Andy Burnham. And of course, he deserves to have a good read. But the heat, from what I'm finding, they've reported this on the mainstream news in the UK, but I think it's around, I think it's over 20,000 past in Europe because of the heat. You know how hot I was saying it was? It was just, oh, epic, absolutely epic. So, yeah, that's obviously a real worry. And I was seeing all these images as well of people's shoes melting, people were frying eggs on like car tops. There was a guy that was able to fry sausages on the stones on the beach. I'm not even kidding. So it's like it's been quite astonishing. Lots of news to share with you today. So I'm going to try through main ones. Tate brothers have been arrested. Andy Burnham, of course, be reading on that. Floodings, someone asking about Zorro Ranch. Darline Graham, who would be a complete cold read for me. That is Lady Graham's sister. There was a questioning from Soul Train. I just needed a bit more detail on that Soul Train to answer that question, because you were asking about a kill switch, but I wasn't sure really what that was referring to. So if you just could give context, next I'll try and get that in because I have to understand. And of course, the Mitch McConnell cover-up, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, to deepen. So I'm going to be playing you a little bit from iHip News. We all know the iHip ladies. And what's nice is that they get all of the juice straight up early. So I'll let them make their arguments and then I'll pull the cards. Right, are you ready? Okay, so let me just see here. Look, I've taped some post-it notes onto the back of my this sheet here just to make sure that I can give you the news. So, something to look out for. Remember I was talking about Balbert's basket, yeah? And you remember I said from the 19th of July, that basket becomes complete on Memento, and it will move apart again. Here, this, remember this? Remember this? Yeah, Balbert's basket. So remember on the 19th, which was basically yesterday, it's now the 21st for me, but still the 20th in America. Jupiter has moved up yet to complete this Balbert's basket. And do you remember how I said it's this opposition between the corporate world being represented by Pluto, yeah, and the oligarchy in sidereal Capricorn, and Jupiter representing humanity, families, and all the values that we want to stand up for as human beings. Now, there's something interesting. Apparently, there's going to be a development with the SAVE Act, and I was watching this on a channel, and it's to do with like things like crypto and stuff like that. And the person was saying in their podcast, watch out for July 20th, which of course is today. So there might be an important announcement this person was anticipating this week on the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is going to have a big impact on what happens with crypto. So of course, this is very, very important. Balbert's basket, I said, it's like this tug of war, isn't it? Between, will it be complete corporate control, or will it be more benevolent, or will humanity win? All of this kind of stuff. I think humanity is winning, but they're getting more desperate, those that are in power. Let's see. Oh, Did anyone see Howard Lutnick being questioned at that budget hearing thing? I've written here, what a farce. Did anyone see that? Oh my God. I think I was watching Midas Touch or something like that. And I think it was about, I think I got through the show. It was only about 20 minutes, but seeing this absolute, oh, talk about slime and sleaze. Where's my obsidian? Oh God, when I talk about these people, I need to make sure that I have the obsidian nearby. Outrageous. Absolutely. You just look at it and you just like, it's just naked corruption now. Naked, full-breasted, titty, everything out. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to talk about my connections with Epstein and the finances, blah, 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 because in the next few weeks, I've given you time to ask me questions on that, on blah, blah, blah. It's like these people just needs dragging out the room. No more debates, no more conversations, no more backwards and forwards. And yeah, they were asking good questions. Just arrest. Yeah. Drag them out of these spaces and arrest them, and then they have to argue for their own clemency whether they should be let go of or not. Naked corruption. Absolutely. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to rant about, but yeah, I'm sure you guys will understand. Anyway, let's see who's here in the chat. Mark Brisebois is saying Trump wants Canada to pay for the smoke damage. Oh, he's just insufferable. It's just so ridiculous, isn't it? Someone here, Sharon, saying, please hit the like button. Big hugs. It helps the channel out, please. Thank you. Yes, it does. It does very much. And thank you, Sharon, so much for supporting my channel. Also, as well, giving here, like, oh, my astrology book as well. Of course, the Candid Guide to Neo-Vedic Astrology. Now that she's put that up, do I have a copy nearby? Yes, I do. And look, this one's bookmarked. Oh, the glare. Candid Guide to Neo-Vedic Astrology. And of course, you guys know I am also a novelist as well. I write historical adventure fiction, time travel and adventure, and all of this stuff. In fact, I'm going to start writing book 3 soon. It is time. I wasn't going in this direction, but from one of my first books, one of my characters is American. Yeah, she's called Iona. That's all I'm going to tell you. She's called Iona. And the third book is that it's going to be mainly about her. And there's time travel and all that stuff in all of these books. But her book starts out in contemporary America. And long story short is that she decides to leave. She just thinks that America is that should rather take her chances going through time. Let's just put it that way, to chase her aim. That's not a book that's even written yet, and that was a complete side. Thank you, Sir Sharon. Yeah, someone saw saying full-breasted titty outlaw. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Teresa also Graham's. Yeah, that was Taurus there. That was Taurus. Teresa Graham's. Yeah. Naked, full titty out, everything. They're not even trying to hide it now. They're not even, it's just like, it's just outrageous. Taurus is just all right. What's this Mark saying? The best thing the World Cup finals was the 80,000 boos. Oh, did he get booed? Did Dr. Orange get booed again? Oh God, this guy, man, he's just an absolute turd, isn't it? What's this here? Ryan's always got something wise to say. Tyrants, their minions would ultimately fail, but down by their own viciousness and by popular spirit of humanity that could be suppressed but never completely extinguished. Shakespeare. Yes, absolutely. Brought down by their own viciousness. And Never Whistle at Night is saying Canada is so angry at DJT. Yeah, I can well believe. The guy's just an absolute, oh, it's ridiculous. Mickey Mouse is saying, yeah, Dumpy Trump is an idiot. Yeah. And someone's saying here, 594 in the chat. It's now 674 actually, so it's all going up. What's this here? Let me just see here. Brent says, Sergey, you would been a great MP with your talent in oration. Ah, thank you, thank you. I probably fantasize about being prime minister a little bit too much, I must confess. But it's always like how I can improve the country, improve the world. Anyway, so let's dig into some of your questions, and then of course I'll bring more of you in on the chit chat and seeing what you folks are saying. You know, you guys are very switched on, very bright, intelligent crowd, you know, you know what's going on out there. All right, let's look at Andy Burnham. Yeah, so as you know, well, Lena also predicted it as well, but remember I said, look, Keir Starmer is toast. Yeah, I said he's going to be gone after those May elections. I said that's it. Yeah, because remember there was all the scandals and this, that, and the other, and everyone's like, oh, is he going? You know, lots of people asked him to resign. I said no, it will be after the May elections. I said that will finish him off. Disastrously, and Reform, who is currently still headed up by Farage, did very well. Then there was the by-election in Makerfield, which a certain Andy Burnham stood in, who was then at the time the mayor of Manchester, and third time lucky for him, he is now prime minister. So he defeated Reform and all of the other contestants by a country mile. He was so popular that people understood that this was potentially someone that could lead the country, one thing after the other. I think he only had one opponent stand against him, yada, 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 and he is now the prime minister. So as I predicted, Sir Keir Starmer gone. What is so interesting, though, is often when these politicians, particularly when these prime ministers retire, that's often when you see the more human side to them. So the PMQs, we call it prime minister's questions, there's actually quite a lot of tears, quite a lot of affection and all of this, that, and the other. But however, things move on. Yeah, stuff needs to get done, and in Britain we are just not putting up with this rubbish. You know, if you do not perform, you are out. And he is the seventh prime minister that we've had in what, about 10 years or something like that, there or thereabouts, basically after the whole Brexit debacle. Yeah, so since 2016. Anyway, let's read. So Nick Minks has said, as Burnham has installed his cabinet, do the cards show it will be on a more successful path? I'm tempted to ask what Larry the Cat thinks as he gains another prime minister. So you guys, let's get the extra camera up. You guys may or may not know. Oh, let me, oh gosh, look. Yeah, I've got my remote control up there. Sorry. Let's get the old cards going. Let's go back and do a bit of rider weight. And so Larry the Cat is the cat that basically lives in the house of the prime minister. Yeah. So when a prime minister is turfed out, the cat gets to stay. That's how it works in British politics. So Larry the Cat has a lifelong job. Yeah, lifelong job. So Larry, in his relatively short life, I imagine, has already seen a lot of prime ministers. Oh my God. Oh, look at that. Look what fell out already. Oh, God, I've got to sort myself out. I've got to move the camera closer. Yeah, tut. Okay, tut. Anyway, I think he got this last time when I read on him. 3 of Cups, so it's looking good. Here you got the King of Swords. So this can also talk about being astute. Remember too, I said I associate the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords with accountancy. Guess what? Andy Burnham is saying he wants to change the tax threshold. He wants to increase the threshold at which we British citizens pay tax. Currently, it's around about £12,578 or something like that. You can technically earn in the UK before you pay tax, either as a self-employed person or as an employee, P-A-Y-E. Obviously, I'm self-employed, so I've had to learn a thing or two about this. And something I've been talking about for ages is that they need to increase, that tax threshold. Look at that. The cards are jumping. Yeah, he's going to invest in the country. Bloody hell, the cards are really... All right, let me just pull. Move my mouth less, and then maybe the cards will calm a bit. Andy Burnham. Andy Burnham. Andy Burnham. Andy Burnham. Let's pull one more. Andy Burnham. Let's have a look. Oh, well. Interesting. Oh! Well, I mean, you know, I have to say what I see. And something very interesting happens when I pull cards for Andy Burnham. You notice that they suddenly become very positive. Obviously, when we start pulling on Duck Larange and Mitch McConnell, the cards are going to be dreadful, clearly. But look, this is also what fell out. So the first card that fell out, you remember this card? I referred to it as what? The card of ROI, Return on Investment. That's my personal interpretation. But of course, it is the card of the harvest. You will notice here, the man is here looking down at these coins. So this shows that this is the card of patience, diligence, sowing seeds and then reaping the harvest. This was Andy Burnham's third attempt at becoming prime minister. He went off for quite a few years, became the mayor of Manchester, was very, very successful at that. And I think that laid the groundwork and the foundation for his success this time. He gained more experience. Largely speaking, it seems to be, from what I can gather, that the people of Manchester are pretty happy with the job that Burnham did. I don't think he has universal praise, but he's been broadly considered to have done quite a good job. So this is his work and his investment there. But look at this now as PM. Look at the cards he gets. Oh, here, look, we've got the Magician. Like, he means business. Yeah. Now Burnham has come to say to everyone, I'm gonna transform the country. You know, it's gonna be root and branch, biggest changes for 40 years, because he's from north. Yeah, it's from up north. So, but this looks like I believe him. And you know what? I'm very glad that we have a northern prime minister. I'm very glad. Long overdue. Yeah, he did go to Cambridge, like most of them do, or Oxford. But he is from a solidly genuine working class background. Yeah, quite humble roots. Here with the Magician card, you can see he's going to let rip. I think he knows he doesn't have much time. He said, basically, this is Labour's last chance. He's making the right noises. We'll have to see if he delivers. He's also been talking about the failure of neoliberalism and how it's only benefited the rich. So he's kind of making the right squawks and clucks right now, but of course rest has to be seen. But the Magician card in general is a success card. He is going to move heaven and earth, yeah, as above so below, to change things. So I'm quite encouraged by that. If we look here though, we get the 8 of Wands. So we can see here, look, there's a fight, there's a scrap. Yeah, it's not all gonna be downhill. Well, downhill is easier to go down. It might be a bit uphill for him. He's going to have to fight some battles. If we look here, particularly as well, there could be critiques that could come back from the past, particularly with the Page of Swords. But this is also him as well. He's going to have to be light, quick, sharp, and clever-tongued. Let's not forget the Sword Suite always talk about the intellect, you know, the mind. They have a lot to do with communication and speech. Yeah, so he's going to have to be mindful of his critics, which I'm sure will be plenty. However, if we look here, the next card that comes out is the 10 of Pentacles. Now, you guys know this is the card of legacy. So if we look here, here's Grandpa, here's his adult children. I think this is the grandkid here, and you got the 2 dogs. So this is a card about setting up a legacy, something that lives beyond you. Yeah, when I'm reading on politics, US politics, this often represents the GOP, obviously much more of a negative connotation, but we can see here the cards for Andy are quite positive. So that combined with the Magician, it shows he is actually serious about creating a legacy here. Yeah. And then look at his outcome card. Ooh. Yeah. He gets the 6 of Wands. God, because I was seeing it backwards. Obviously, when the numeral is behind, it would become a 4. But anyway, here, yeah, this is the card of what? Victory. Yeah, the card of victory. You see the laurel here, the laurel on the wand that he is carrying, and of course, the horse is riding in for success. So to answer the question, I would say, yeah, I think he stands a very good chance of having a successful tenure as a prime minister. And all the cards that I've been pulling for Andy, they've all been positive. And you see how the cards have just been leaping out for him. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think he understands there's urgency. He understands that Britain is sick and tired of these fake politicians. But for me, I want Count Binface to win in Clacton. For me, if Count Binface were to win in Clacton, that for me would be one of the biggest manifestations of Balbert's basket, truly, because it's already gone around the world. I saw Digression. They were talking about Count Binface in Japan, and the guy, this Japanese guy, was pointing. He said, "Count Binface," and I was like, amazing. So in America, they're talking about it. Japan, they're talking about it. India, they're talking about it. I think South Korea, they're also talking about it. But when this by-election happens, which happens in August, which isn't too long, I think the world's media is going to be there. Anyway, right, let's bring a few more of you in. Someone says here, yeah, Blob is also an evil monster, indeed. What's this here? Let's see. Raymond says, a tyrant will always find a pretext for his tyranny. Yeah, Aesop, absolutely. And Nita says, hello, darling Hoagie. I love your show. Thank you. Thank you so much. What's this is here? Arlene said, Scrotum faces serious delusion and cojones to think he can save the Tate brothers. He has to try overreaching in UK affairs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He might try. And someone was asking if he would block the extradition. Oh, a donation. Thank you so much, Harriet. Much appreciated. Big love there. Thank you. Let's see who else is. Oh, another ping. Let me just get myself up to speed. Bodhisattva. Alfia Hogov. I was rooting for England in FIFA, but your coach blew it. Better luck in 4 years. Yeah, I didn't think England would win. I predicted we would reach the semi-finals and that we would lose to Argentina 2-1. I should have probably best was exact, and the stage of the competition was exact, and the country was exact. But I'm too busy. But you know, we came third. I think we beat France. I think it was 6-4. Oh, that's a tennis score. Yeah, that is like wow. So it would have been a very exciting match. All right, now let's look at Lynn True. So this is an interesting one, and I'm selecting. And thank you for the new people asking questions, by the way, much appreciated. Anyway. And of course, the regulars that region. Oh, did you see the hamster wheel? Second, I start talking about America. Anyway, let's just see. Where's the obsidian? Grab this. Anyway, with all the flooding rains in the southeast region of the US, will there be more / new human remains unearthed that are potentially related to Zorro Ranch and other criminal ventures? I heard a while back that this would happen. Is now the time? It's a good question. And Yang Field answered to Lynn, said Libya's always said she sees remains exposed by flood or natural means at Zorro. Libya and I will be collaborating again towards the end of the month. And I think this week I'm also going to be with Chariot Palmistry on his channel, I think. So keep posted. Now, what I did was, because I was like, let me do a little bit of research on this, because I was just like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? So the first thing I did was I just checked the news. Let me just share screen. And look at this. Look, all of this flooding. Look, Torrential rain hits New York and New Jersey. Floodwaters surge in Texas after huge rainstorms, flooding Sam Jersey City, New York. Here we are. Flash flooding hits Houston. Life-threatening flash floods. Blanco River surging in Texas, etc. So there's now. Do you remember I was talking about the El Nino effect? Remember, we're having a super El Nino this year. Super El Nino. And remember when I was reading, do you remember, guys, when I said with Jupiter being in the sign of Cancer, and I said particularly when Jupiter becomes Gandanta, which is later on in October, I said there could be lots of water events. So you can remember, like, Jupiter is like a big, massive planet, and he's in the sign of Cancer where he's exalted, so he's incredibly powerful. And in Vedic astrology, Jupiter is known as a fiery, wet planet. So, of course, when he's in the sign of Cancer, it's going to expand water events and all of that kind of stuff. So, unfortunately, I think there's probably going to be a bit more of that. But anyway, let me show the screen again and get more into a little bit of the nitty gritty here. So, I had to look up where the Zorro Ranch is, and it's in a little place called Stanley. It's very close to it. So, I had to literally dig this thing out. Let me just see if I can find... Is this it? Yeah. So you'll see here, here's Stanley over here. Here's Albuquerque, for those of you that know New Mexico. Yeah, Albuquerque, very famous city in New Mexico. So you can see here, it is east of Albuquerque, really quite far out. So I then checked, going back in, I then checked, why does it always default to that 2-page thing? Anyway, I then checked to see where if there were going to be any floods in New Mexico, and they are, but they're much further south. So let me just see here. Is it this one? No. Flood watch, that's the one. So you'll see here, here's Albuquerque, and here's Stanley over here, which you can see. I probably should have gone to this map first. Never mind anyway. So if we go down south, down south, down south, down south, you see there's a flood watch down here. So technically, it looks like there could be floods in New Mexico, but you can see it is a long ways away from Albuquerque and Stanley over here. Yeah. So based on that, you know, because obviously, you know, as you know, even though I'm very esoteric, I'm also a very practical person. I believe in just like literally looking at the weather, looking at the maps. It doesn't look like there's any kind of torrential rain coming there soon, but you never know. Weather patterns, you know, things could change. And particularly when Jupiter becomes a Gandanta, there's going to be a lot more flooding events. Yeah. So I just thought I'll just show you some details there, but let's look into that. Zorro Ranch. So could things be unearthed at the Zorro Ranch? And apparently they're going to be turning it into some kind of, isn't it some kind of Christian retreat, they said. I mean, how macabre. I mean, so let's see here. Zorro Ranch. Will there be more unearthings? Let's have a look, see. Oh, let me drink some water. Sorry, one momento. Oh, jeez. All right. The authorities are pondering what to do. They're not sure which move to make. Yeah, I think Duck Larange has intervened again to shut down the investigation. Oh, I wonder why. Yeah, so I think the authorities are not sure what to do. Whether or not, I'm not seeing much rain in these, but it's like things are being pondered. This can also deal with the people that are now the owners of Zorro Ranch. Yeah, they've probably got rid of all the evidence anyway. We look here. Here you've got the Two of Wands. Now remember, Wands also deals with business for me as well. Yeah, business. Here you see the merchant holding the globe. So there is an international element here. I think this is the rebranding of Zorro Ranch as a business, as some kind of retreat space. They're probably going to try and appeal to all Christians around the world who probably haven't even heard of what's going on in the Epstein files. If you look at this, people have been paid off. Yeah. Here we got the Six of Pentacles here. Now we see the wealthy merchant. You see, recognize the cloak and the hat is all very similar. Here, the wealthy merchant is dishing out to the poor, but in the context of Zorro Ranch and Epstein and all that stuff, we can really see that as a bribe. Yeah, I would see that. Yeah, this is my chocolate money here. Yeah, I see that as that's a bribe. What this says to me, I'm sorry about it, guys, but it says to me that local police, local government or whatever, I think people are being paid off to be. Yeah. If we look here, however, some people are still going to try and speak up and out about it. We've got the Page of Wands. Pages are all about messages, of course, and the Page of Wands is also known as the orator. So there may be some kind of local news stories that still come up about what? Six of Cups. Children. About the children. So it's still, the energy is still there, guys. The energy is still there. I mean, this is the card that very specifically pertains to children. Of course, you have the Ten of Cups as well, and the Ten of Pentacles has children on it as well. But this one, we know what this is. Yeah, we know what this is. So let me just see it. Let's see if there's, let me just pull some clarifier to see if there's going to be a bit of, let's see if there's, is there going to be any uncovering, any justice here? We know it's about the kids. There are bodies there, or maybe they've been moved. Let's just see what the clarifiers are on this. So great. Oh, I just said, didn't I? I said the Ten of Cups also has children there. Oh, jeez. Oh, this is a bit spooky. Oh, oh, guys, look. The devil. Do you see? Children, devil. If we look here, Eight of Swords, yeah, trying to navigate a difficult position, feeling like you're a hostage to fortune. This could also talk about some of the experiences, sadly, that those kids had. But I think it's anyone that was at Zorro Ranch also felt like this. It's extremely isolated. I mean, you can see that place, Stanley, is just way out in the sticks. And but this is also the investigation, being tied up, stymied. Oh, I think that unfortunately, because of that presence there of the devil, that influence, I will go as far to say maybe there could be good news with that Ten of Cups, but I think it's going to be when Duck L'Orange is no longer walking this earth. Sorry, guys. That was creepy. That was a bit, oh, that was a bit spooky, but you could see, did you see how the children came out? And I mentioned the Ten of Cups, and voila, there it was. Wow. So, and I don't see any rain there anytime soon, but you never know. If the weather with the El Nino effect, maybe some flooding could come into that part. But thanks for the question. All right, let's look at Darline Graham. Now, I've got no clue about this lady. In fact, I'm gonna have to kind of like look her up. Darline Graham. Let me just see here. Darline Graham. Is that Nordone? Darline Graham. Images. Ah, so all right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you what I've seen, because I've never seen her before. Let's do share screen. I hope I've got the right person, because literally I've got no idea. But I see pictures there of Lindsey Graham. So this, yeah, this looks like her, Darline Graham. Yeah, that looks like that could be the same woman. Yeah, it is. She's gone a shade lighter with the hair this time. So that seems to be her. So she's been helicoptered in. Oh, yeah. She's been helicoptered in, appointed interim senator after brother's passing. All right. So there we are. Now we've got a mugshot. Let's read. Yeah, let's read on it. So where are we? So Amber Wood, thank you so much, Amber, for your question. Hello, Huggy. Darlene Graham replaced Lady Lindsay in the Senate. She has no political history, but has a career in disability services. I feel like she will be very different than her brother in regards to working as a senator. What do the cards say about Darlene Graham? Thanks so much. And then she was second question if time allows. I don't think I do have time. Let's read on that one. Darlene Graham, what will she be like? What's her shtick? What's the energy around her? Let's have a look. Oh, thank you, dear. Taurus says, Hoagie is so brilliant. Oh, thank you. Anyway, let's have a look. What's going on with Darlene? I don't have the foggiest clue about her, apart from what I just read now. All right, Spirit, what can you tell us about Darlene? What do we need to know? Darlene. What do we need to know about Darlene? Is she all right, or is she as dodgy as her brother? Let's have a look. Wow. Oh! Oh, I see what's going on. This is so interesting. All right, here we go. The cards are remarkable. So what comes out first? The Fool. Oh, let me move to the closer camera. Un momento. TD. All right. The card that comes out, this is symbolizing her journey. Now, what we need to remember is that the Fool is also a journey of what? Expectation, of innocence, of naivety. The Fool is the Alpha Omega card, yeah, because it's the 0 and it's also the last card as well. So it's the first and the last card. So what we can see here now, obviously, she is what? She's naive in the sense of she has no political experience from what we're aware of. I didn't even know that this was possible, that this could happen in the States. But anyway, what have you? Anyway, so we can see here, this is a massive leap of faith for her. She's obviously never been in this role before. She seems to have this background in health, but of course it's not connected with politics. She's been helicoptered in. Obviously, it's probably a temporary position for now. So for her, this is completely new, leap of faith. Obviously, she knew about her brother's career, but it's just like a big jump. She just doesn't have much experience. Doesn't mean she's stupid, doesn't mean she's foolish. It just means she's naive in the sense of she's inexperienced in the job. So you can see here, this is bang on that the Fool card has come out first. I mean, what else? If we look here, though, oh, we see there is a sharpness to her, though. There is a sharpness. The Queen of Swords has come out. When the card is in the positive, it can talk about a serious-minded, astute woman. Also, as well, remember too, I associate the King and Queen of Swords with accounting. So she's probably looking at the finances. She's looking at the money. There is something sharp about her. I don't think this is a woman that you should cross. There will be something sharp there. I think she knows how to deal with people. Let's put it that way. So she ain't a soft and fluffy character. Let's put it that way. If we look here, I've got to cover the naughty bits. If we look here, we have the Lovers. Yeah, the Lovers comes out. Now, as you know, for me, this card doesn't just literally mean the lovers. Remember, too, I also, when I'm talking about international affairs, particularly when it comes to imports and exports, I associate this card with international trade agreements. But really, this card talks about contracts, agreements, partnerships. Yeah, so she's been contracted to do the job, even though she has no experience. Yeah, she's been contracted to do the job. She has a partnership with someone or persons. that she has powerful and important connections with. Yeah, this is part of how she got the job. Yeah, how has she got the job? Oh, looky here, got to cover this bit here. The star card. Now, you guys will know when I'm reading on politics, I associate the star card with who? Duck L'Orange. Yeah, Duck L'Orange. Let me just fix this 1 minute. Let me just do a little. I'll just do a little bit of on-screen editing here because I want to be able to show this card properly. I'll just draw a bikini on her for now. 1 minute. There we are. Just give her a little bikini. Put a little shoulder strap on there and a little bit behind. There we are. Oh, I've got the vagine. There we are. Let's cover and let's put that there like that. There we are. A little bit of. Oh, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to these things. There we are. That's a little bit better. Let me just. There we are. This pen is just a little bit too whatever. Anyway, at least now I can show the card properly without YouTube bloody. So as you know, this is the star card I associate with Duck L'Orange, but this also shows as well that she is now what? In the spotlight. As you know, I often refer to these stars as being in the spotlight. So she is the story. She is stepping in for the brother. She is a novice, but this card is also my card for Duck L'Orange. So this says to me there is a connection here. Oh God, I've got to cover the bits. There is a connection here, yeah, between her, Lindsey Graham, and Duck L'Orange. Yeah, let me just sort this out because I'm sick and tired of having to cover up the bits because you know YouTube with its whatnots. So let's just quickly just sketch on here. Let's just give her a little bikini top as well. I need to use a different pen. This pen is too broad for my taste, but you know, let's just give him some little boxer shorts. I'll give him a thong. There you go. So yeah, so you see, she has a contract. She has a contract. She's contractually obliged to someone or some entity, probably connected with Duck L'Orange. Yeah. And if we look here, she's probably also been paid a bit of money as well. Surprise, surprise. Here we've got the Page of Pentacles. Pages are all about messages, but Pentacles in general are about the earth, element of earth, which can also talk about values, but it usually talks about money. So she's been paid some coin as well. So even though she is a novice to the role, what the Lovers card tells me is that she is well connected. Yeah, potentially with Duck L'Orange and other sort of maybe narcissistic types as well. Yeah, so I hope that was interesting for you folks. All right, I'll have to kind of fix that later. All right, so there's that. That was, what was she called? Thingy Bob Graham. Where are we? Oh, which question was I on? Pardon me. Darline. Scribble through that. All right. So let's look. Oh God, how are we doing on time? So I've been yabbering away. That was 3. There's question number 4. Oh, so here KMY has said, and then we'll read on Andrew Tate after this, and his brother. Will AI finally be controlled by benevolent interests? Yeah, that's what she's asked. Will it be controlled by benevolent interests? And I put here, one of the things that I found is I was watching another social media channel, and a lot of people don't know this. A lot of the executives, allegedly, of these people that have created social media and all that stuff, guess what? They don't let their own children on social media. If they do, they severely restrict them. Isn't that interesting? So I was learning that Bill Gates, for example, his children are banned from using the mobile phone at the table, and he restricts their access. I've been on this podcast I was watching, allegedly the one of the CEOs of BoobyTube, what you're watching me on now, he doesn't allow his children to go on social media unless it's strictly controlled. 1.5 hours per week they are allowed. Same thing as well for Peter Thiel's children. Interessante. And I was just watching something as well today, which is saying that Generation Z are the least trustful of AI and all that stuff, but they use it the most. And on average, some of them are spending up to 7 hours per day on their phones. Remember, the children of the executives, the children of the CEOs who created these companies are allowed to have only 1.5 hours per week. Whereas Joe Blogs out there, some of the young people are spending up to 7 hours per day. And they did the education thing, like American Association of Education, blah, 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 something like that. And they said the Gen Z, now they've got the data in, is starting to suffer a cognitive decline. And they are the first generation in a long time to do worse than the generation that came before them, once they moved everything to laptops and stuff like that. Again, as you know, if you want to use AI, of course, that's everyone's individual choice. But isn't it interesting when you learn that these top executives, these AI broligarchy that are foisting this stuff on everyone, but their own children, 1.5 hours only. I think that says a lot. Anyways, let's see. But remember too, it's a tool. It can be used benevolently. It doesn't mean every single iteration of AI is evil, but it's like electricity, isn't it? It's how it's used, So let's have a look. Will it become benevolent? And then let's look at Andrew Tate. Oh, look at the cars jumping out. Oh, that says a lot, doesn't it? Very jumpy cards. Let's keep going. So how are you all? I hope you guys are good. I hope you're not flooded out. Gosh, just one extreme to the other, isn't it? 1 minute we're being broiled, then flooded. We'll probably have an extreme winter this year as well. Oh, let's just see. Global warming, folks. Some people say it's not real. I just say stick your head out the window and then you will know. Yeah. All right. Can AI be benevolent? What we do not want to see is the devil card, of course, or any sinister cards, or the high priestess, anything sketchy. Let's have a look. So first, the card that fell out, we see here, look, AI is global. Yeah. Again, the merchant has returned. Ones are about choices, or twos are about choices. Ones, of course, deals with business. These AI companies, many of them are yet to turn a profit, by the way. But this shows the global nature of AI. It's going to be incorporated. And anyway, you know my opinions. Just maybe. If we look here, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Now, as you guys know, nothing can be controlled. Yeah, no one can control the Wheel of Fortune. So this means that AI, and in terms of whether or not it has a benevolent future, hangs a bit in the balance. Yeah, the wheel is spinning. We can't be sure. If the demon was on the top, if it was reversed, that means the outcome is more likely to be unlucky. However, here the Phoenix is on top, which means the outcome is likely to be more lucky. I've just had an update from Midas Touch. Trump loses it as CNN scheme is suddenly blocked. Anyway, so it's not certain that it will go completely down a road of evil. It's not certain it will go completely down a road of good. The wheel is spinning. Let's put it that way. Surprise, surprise. But look what's in the obstacle position. Ace of Pentacles, which deals with what? Money. Remember too, I also associate the Ace of Pentacles with what? The economy. So look, there's going to be volatility in the economy. We know it's a bit of a casino anyway, but this could be the obstacle. Yeah. When the money runs out. Yeah. If the money runs out, because this is technically showing up in the obstacle position. Yeah. So it depends on the funding. Now, you know, a lot of these AI companies are running out of funding. It currently costs them it costs them $1.6 for every that they have to put in for every revenue that they get back. I think it might be even more than that. Remember too as well, China has just come out with its latest version of AI, which is like I think it's like 40% cheaper than ChatGPT and all the other ones, and it's been ranked the best objectively. So we see here there's an economic financial element here. I think there could be legal action. I think also part of the obstacles for the future of AI is the legal action. More and more people are coming out against data centers. They're getting blocked. They're getting rejected. Legal red tape. Also as well, just the silliness with SpaceX and all of this kind of ridiculous stuff. If we look here, look at this, moving to smoother waters. I think AI and its with these, I think these companies, AI is still going to be here. Of course it is. But some of these tech bros may have the exit stage left. Something is leaving, yeah, in this Six of Swords, wanting to move to the smoother waters. Yeah, you'll notice the waters are rougher here, and here they're smooth, but this is someone leaving. So we might have big CEOs kind of departing or going into hiding, or it becomes too volatile, the Wheel of Fortune. Maybe the money runs out. There's an economic shock, which is also substantiated by legal challenges. Maybe that space, particularly the data centers, is just getting too difficult. But then look, then we get the Four of Wands, and this is a card of reaching a milestone. You see the happy wedding here. This can also be associated with the White House, but I don't think it's the White House this time. I think this is about genuinely reaching a milestone. So the outcome could be benevolent, but let's just say here, if we start at the end and read backwards, the outcome could be benevolent. It has that potential. However, the CEOs that are currently running things, they have to leave, yeah? And they need to be taken to court, charged legally for their BS. And there's going to be a financial element here where the money potentially could run out, or I know investors are wanting their money back, and some of them being told they cannot have their money back. And it's a bit of a casino wheel, yeah, that Wheel of Fortune. So it's not set yet, guys. I would say we need to watch out around the midterms. Remember too, I was talking about Jupiter Gandanta. And remember, I've also been predicting that there will be an economic correction, most likely happening in the fall. And that would also be congruent with those cards. I'm sure you'll agree. All right, let me hurry up a little bit. So let's look at that one's scribble off. Relevant. Oh, yeah, I've got to show you Mitch McConnell, but let's do, where am I? That's number 6. All right, let's find number 5. Sorry for all the shuffling. Oh, here we go. Tate brothers. So Liz, thank you so much for your question. She said, Tate bros have been arrested. Will F-45 block their extradition to the UK? Great question. Oh, short and concise. All right, let's go straight in there. Thank you so much, everyone. Wow, there's 1,168 of you joining me live right now. So much appreciated. I know lots of people put out lots of content now, isn't it? So many of us to watch. So I really do appreciate you've come to spend this time here with me. All right. So let's have a look. Oh, the Tate brothers. What an absolute, I was going to swear, disgrace. Yeah, let's put it that way. All right. What's going on? Will Duck L'Orange try and block? Now, if we see the star card come out, we know who that is, or the Emperor, or, you know, we know who Duck L'Orange is. What's going on? Will Duck L'Orange, will the orange one try and block their extradition? Try and block their extradition. Can he? One of the things that you guys should know as well is that the Tates are half British. So it might be difficult for Duck L'Orange to prevent it. What else? Andrew Tate arrested. Oh, and Tristan Tate, the brother. And I put here basically made courses on how to sexploit young women. That's what they did. Arrested in Miami. UK extradition is being put forward. 7 counts of we now on YouTube we say grape. Let's just put it that way, with a G, so we don't get flagged. 3 for counts as sex trafficking. Also as well, child pornography, yeah, without using the P, and severe violence. So he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Let's see what's going on. Obviously, these douchebags, they want to protect their own. So what's going on with it? Oh, look who's back. Well, the Empress. What do we have? We got the Moon card. Nothing is clear by moonlight. Now, how appropriate is this card should show up? Remember with this card, as you've heard me describe before, the challenge of this card is to walk between the pillars of truth. Yeah, he's obviously not going to tell the truth, nor is Duck L'Orange. Here you have the domesticated dog showing what's expected of us as society, what we do out of duty and loyalty. Here you have the wolf showing the bestial nature, yeah, the wild, untamed side, the dangerous side. And here you have the lobster coming out. Now in my Art Deco deck, it's going more to the wolf. Here it's sort of like in between, but nonetheless, for me, this lobster and the water represents the id, yeah, the id, the shadow. So what we see here is this tug of war act between propriety, and this is what obviously Andrew Tate is going to try and argue, and his true bestial savage nature. Let's not forget, he was arrested in Romania and kept there, and the only way he got back to the United States because Duck L'Orange got him over. But remember, nothing is clear by moonlight, so I think Duck L'Orange here is lurking around. He's obviously going to try and help out his friend. However, for Andrew Tate, tricky. Gets the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is the card of being what? Out in the cold, ostracized. Can also talk about health, sickness. As we're also talking a bit about Duck L'Orange here as well. This also, again, when I'm speaking about Trump, the 5 of Pentacles has come up. So he's struggling with himself. So this is a struggle on both counts of both of these men. Yeah. If we look here, oh, surprise, surprise. Look who's back. The Lovers. Contracts. Remember I said contractual agreements, partnerships. He has a contractual agreement with Duck L'Orange, or Duck L'Orange has a contractual agreement with him. Yeah, this is part of why maybe Trump stepped in to get Andrew and his brother Tristan out of a pickle when they're in the hotbed in Romania. Yeah, but they are British citizens. So if we as Britain ask for our citizens back, then America should not be able to block that. Yeah, because they are literally citizens. They have dual nationality, from what I'm aware. If I'm wrong on that, please correct me. But I think, yeah, his dad's African American and his mum's white English. I remember seeing it on a documentary somewhere, so I think I'm correct on that. Yeah, and he grew up in a UK school. Anyway, look, Duck L'Orange has agreements with them. They have a partnership here. Do you remember this card came out as well for, is it Darline? She's got her contractual agreements with Duck L'Orange as well. Oh my God, the tentacles. If we look here, we've got the Chariot card. So this is going to move forward at great pace. He was actually arrested coming out of his car or next to his cars. This can also talk about vehicles. But let me put it this way. The British government wouldn't tackle this. British authorities wouldn't tackle this unless they had a very strong case. So I think it's going to move forward at pace. And then look, we've got the High Priestess. And I was a bit worried that this card would come out. This is talking about machinations, shenanigans, things going on behind the scenes. There's going to be diplomatic moves being pulled. Yeah, because for me, the Moon and the High Priestess are quite similar. Let's not forget as well, she's got a moon at her feet. And this is like a kind of Hathor type thing. But you could also see that looks like a moon as well. So there's going to be shenanigans, guys, behind the scenes. Yeah, Duck L'Orange is going to try his best, but the case may be too strong. Andrew Tate may just have to be flung out into the cold, and his partnerships. But this could also as well, remember I said it also deals with trade agreements. This could also talk about the partnership that the UK has with the USA. This could be the extradition treaties and stuff like that. Oh, and then the Chariot, things moving forward. So I would hope that international law will trump, yeah, Duck L'Orange. All right, let's have a look now. Let's quickly do a read, brothers. So let me just put Trump plus. All right, so that's that. Now we've got a read on Mitch. So here, Yoingfeld has said, is anybody going to get into trouble for covering up Mitch's death? It's a felony to fake a death certificate. So he's not officially confirmed, you know what, exit stage left. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a little clip here from iHip News. Hopefully YouTube aren't going to mess me up too much for it. There could be an advert. I may have to skip it. Let's have a look. We know the ladies here. And let's just go like this. And let's expand. And then Trump loses, and let's fling that. And let's just listen to this first bit. Hello, ladies, if you happen to be watching. Fabulous work. All right.
It's fascinating that Mitch McConnell hasn't said a peep about Lady Graham's death. Utterly fascinating that this senator who plundered and pillaged the United States Constitution, the Supreme Court, cannot get on video to say, hey, guys, I'm fine. I'm here. I'm doing great. Well, Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, said that he's received calls indicating that McConnell was dead. Play the clip.
Then a month before anything had been put out, not even an official statement from Senator McConnell. In fact, I've gotten 2 calls from different agencies, not state agencies, suggesting he'd passed.
So here's the thing.
Right.
Andy Beshear, yeah, I think, is probably.
I'll stop the share. So as you can see, that was a Republican official saying that they've not heard anything. And it's quite remarkable, isn't it? Because these two are peas in the pod. You would think that a certain Mitch would have a few words to say on the passing, yeah, of Lady Graham. So let's just do a read now. Remember what I've said all along. Yeah, I said all along when I was reading on it a few weeks ago, I said he is between 2 worlds and he's probably going to exit stage left. And you got that guy basically saying he's basically heard it said that he's dead, which means they are covering up his death if he has departed, which of course is a felony. I don't think anything's going to be done about it because they're all a bunch of crooks, but let's just take a look. If we get cards like the 4 of Swords, which for me really does represent like the Mausoleum and Death, or the Death card, or the High Priestess, or the Moon, the cards that are a bit suspect. Let's just see what's going on. Will anyone be held account, and what's going on with Mitch? Oh, I've gone over a little bit. What's going on? Let's have a look. Oh, look who's back. Well. Isn't this interesting? All right. Here we get the 10 of Cups, which makes another return. They are literally trying to play happy families. Mitch is fine. I spoke to him for 20 minutes. We all spoke to him for 20 minutes. We're all a big happy family. Yeah. But this card, for me, the shadow of this card is like something is too good to be true. Yeah. It's not true. They're lying. Yeah. Obviously. We look here, we see the card coming forward after 4 weeks. Some Republican Party trying to stay on the front foot, trying to keep ahead of the story, keep distracting everyone, coming out with all of this BS, yeah? But there is this element of aggression as well. Why are they going to such lengths? Oh, wow, there's 1,200 of you now. It's like they could easily resolve this by just showing a genuine video of him talking with his medical professionals, saying, "Hey, everybody," well, he's got the full Southern accent. It's like, everybody, I'm fine, everybody. Yeah, it's got a ridiculous kind of like almost cartoonish one, hasn't it? But that's what he could do. He could be like, "Hey, y'all, I'm fine." No, we've not heard a peep. Yeah, but this is the aggression. This also says as well, there could be something sudden that happened as well. I think he's gone. But anyway, surprise, surprise. What is this all in aid of? The star is back. So it's all in defense of what? Duck L'Orange. Yeah? Duck L'Orange is what it's all about. Duck L'Orange. Yeah? They're worried about the midterms. They're also worried about the spotlight. Yeah? And also as well, Mitch would be a rampant narcissist as well. That's my shadow interpretation for the card. Just in case we weren't sure, look, we've got the Hierophant here, which is what the traditional ways of doing things, but can also talk about the workings of government. They are worried about the midterms. Yeah, they're trying to what? Hold this out. What is it, August 3rd or 4th, when some kind of deadline passed, when some kind of official deadline, because the Hierophant can also talk about officiations, the doctrine, the standard ways of doing things, yeah, pontification as well. And this coming next to my card for Duck Orange is like, no, gum up the works, don't say anything until the time has passed. And then the outcome card, look who's back again, the Fool. Now, of course, this showed up as well for Arlene Graham, yeah. In this case, what this says to me in this context, the context of the Fool in this time has changed. In the case of Arlene, it was the first card, yeah? So it literally was, she's naive in the job. She's new to the job. She's a novice. This time it has come at the end, which this says to me there's a leap of faith here that happens. So I think after the deadline has passed, yeah, in some kind of official capacity, after the deadline has passed, yeah, and Duck L'Orange is happy, you know, they're going to keep going aggressively with this stuff, pretending that they're happy families. And then they might announce that he's left. Yeah, that's when that leap of faith may happen, but it's not a real leap of faith. But also as well, it will be seen for what it is. It will actually be just seen as stupid, yeah, in this context. I think it's just also showing that they're just, you know, it's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. Oh, thank you so much, C-Piece, for your donations. And they say that I'm wearing, you're wearing my favorite shirt today. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. So, folks, let me just go back there. Look, I think he's gone. You know, it's not just me who give us in that. I got, and they are literally, with those cards, it tells me they are waiting for, they're trying to run the clock. And they feel benefit them or that league faith and announce it, which we already know what was likely the outcome anyways. So anyway, I will leave it there, folks. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. There's over 1,200 of you joining me this evening. Mwah! Big love, much appreciated. That's really good. If you've not done so already, I have to say the boring bit, please be sure to like and subscribe and click the all notification, yeah? All notification bell. Some of you can notify, some of you are not. So if you've not subscribed already, please do. It really helped the channel to grow. I think I'm almost, it'd be great to get there. And you will see me again. Who do I have in? I think it's me and just the ladies on Wednesday. Let me just check. Oh yeah, Fefe. Yes, so it'll be the usual lineup. And then watch out as well when I'm on Chariot Palmistry. And then watch out for Libby and I collaborating again towards the end of the month. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Anyway, I will leave it there, folks. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope you found that interesting. Thank you for all your questions and compliments and all that jazz. New and old subscribers, everyone is welcome. So big love. All right, bye-bye for now. Cheers.